Our film begins with the voice of an Asgardian ship, distressfully calling for help, stating that it is a refugee ship, not a warship, with only a few soldiers on board. Then we shift to the ship itself and learn that the distress call was indeed received. However, instead of a rescue, it was Thanos' children who were there. Thanos' son, with his high-ranking status, tells them that they are fortunate to die by the hand of the mighty Thanos on the planet Titan. He then explains that their deaths are necessary to achieve balance in the universe, as resources are dwindling. Finally, he introduces himself as their father, Thanos. Thanos warns them that they make his task much harder every time they resist and rebel against him. He questions how they can endure the pain repeatedly and continue to resist. He orders Loki to bring him the Tesseract, while holding Thor captive. Thor challenges Thanos, mentioning that the Tesseract was destroyed on Asgard while they were being attacked. Thanos mocks him and starts torturing Thor in front of his adoptive brother Loki, who can't bear to see Thor in pain. Loki finally reveals the Tesseract's location and hands it over to Thanos. Then, the Asgardian gatekeeper travels to the spirit realm, seeking the assistance of the sorcerers who provide him with their dark magic for one last time. He uses this power to help Hulk escape from the ship, allowing Thanos to enjoy his time while the others struggle. Hulk fights against Thanos but eventually gets overpowered and is left defeated on the ground. Meanwhile, the Asgardian ship explodes. Next, we see the bridge created by the Asgardian gatekeeper, where Hulk and Loki were sent. The bridge takes Hulk to Doctor Strange, the guardian of the Time Stone. Hulk informs Doctor Strange about Thanos' pursuit of the 6 stones and the dire consequences if he obtains them. Then, we witness Iron Man having a conversation with his wife, discussing a dream he had where everything was perfect and real. His wife questions the meaning of the dream, and Iron Man responds that he wishes it could be true. Later, Iron Man meets up with Doctor Strange and Bruce Banner, informing them that Thanos is after the 6 stones and that if he obtains them, he will reshape the universe according to his will. Doctor Strange insists on protecting the Time Stone, as it plays a crucial role in maintaining reality. Iron Man suggests destroying the Time Stone to prevent Thanos' plan from succeeding, but Doctor Strange refuses, stating that it must be protected at all costs. Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Bruce Banner decide to locate Vision, who possesses the Mind Stone, before Thanos can reach him. However, they discover that Vision has disabled all communication channels, making it difficult to track him down. Iron Man suggests that only one person can help them reach Vision, Steve Rogers, also known as Captain America. However, they realize that they have been divided and cut off from each other due to political disagreements. Iron Man questions their separation, and Bruce Banner explains that there was a political conflict and they went their separate ways. Iron Man expresses frustration, stating that Thor is now dead, and Thanos is coming. They discuss the need to assemble once again and stop Thanos from obtaining the stones. Later, they find themselves in Doctor Strange's house, where Iron Man informs them that Thanos is in pursuit of the stones, and they must reach Vision before him. They also discuss the presence of another stone, the Soul Stone, which is yet to be found. They decide to split into 2 groups, one heading to Wakanda and the other to retrieve the Soul Stone. The fate of the universe hangs in the balance as they prepare to face Thanos and protect the remaining stones. And Thanos' son said to them, "You are lucky, humans, by God, lucky are the inhabitants of Earth to die at the hands of Thanos' children. I wish it were me, my brother." Tony told him, "The Earth is closed today. Come back another day." Doctor Strange told him, "No one here is messing around with this planet. Whoever crosses this line will die." He asked, "Is that person talking in your place?" He replied, "No, of course not." He said, "Then tell him to shut up." Tony told him, "This person will beat you up, Shafiq, you who are in SpongeBob SquarePants." Bruce tries to join them, but he can't transform into the Hulk and is struggling, but there's nothing there. Doctor Strange's assistant tells him, "With your permission, sir, if he can't help us, let him disappear somewhere else." And then Tony puts on his Iron Man suit and starts attacking those with Shafiq the Squid until he falls, and Shafiq retaliates and hits those behind him, and Tony blasts him away. Bruce tries to reassure him, but then the man hits him again, and Bruce tries to bring out the Hulk, but he refuses to come out. The man was about to kill Iron Man, but Spider-Man appears and says, "Hey, Peter, where have you been, my boy?" Peter says, "I was on a school trip, but I thought I'd swing by to see if there's any trouble." The man asks, "Are these aliens coming to take the necklace from us?" Peter replies, "Is all this fuss for a necklace?" The man says, "What can we do? Their minds are small." And then we move to Doctor Strange, who is being held by Shafiq the Squid, and Hulk brings him the Time Stone. In the end, he tries to do something to him, but Shafiq grabs him and holds him down. He says, "We'll take it from your corpse." Doctor Strange says, "That's actually a good idea, but it won't be easy to break a spell on a dead man." He says, "Do you really believe in me? You're a good man and a helpful person. I'll take you and we'll see what's going on there." He carries him and takes him, and Iron Man is still fighting the other giant, and he tells Spider-Man to go to the sorcerer and try to get Doctor Strange, but the sorcerer takes him away and takes him to the ship. Spider-Man is pulled up with them, and Iron Man tells him to catch his breath and calm down a bit. Then he goes back to the giant, and Doctor Strange's assistant comes back with him to help kill him because they are fed up. Then Doctor Strange's assistant manages to open a portal to another place and pushes him there, and when he tries to return, they close the gate on him and cut off his hand. Then Peter cries out for help, and at that moment, Iron Man arrives and tells him to hold on, as the oxygen is running out. He tells him to hold his breath, and the AI in his helmet sends him a suit designed for Peter to catch up with him, and he manages to catch up in the final seconds before falling from the ship that was heading into space. Then Iron Man takes them back to Earth to prevent anything from happening. When they return, Tony's wife calls him and asks where he is, not telling him that he went to the ship that was shown in the news. He tells her, "No, I'm on the ship. We had an argument, but luckily the network got disconnected." He enters the ship, and Peter also manages to enter the ship and stay inside. Shafiq is completely unaware of them. Meanwhile, Bruce is still on Earth, and after all the beating, he finds the Nokia phone that Iron Man uses to contact Steve Rogers. He opens the phone, and Doctor Strange's assistant goes to see what they can do. He is determined to bring them, but she tells him, "No, trust me, let me talk to Steve." Then we move to the Guardians of the Galaxy in their ship, enjoying their time and traveling through space. Then they receive a distress call, and their leader tells them it must be a reward for their game. She says, "Come on, don't you understand distress signals? We should help them." He says, "Yeah, when we help them, they'll reward us. Okay, let's go." They arrive there and find a massacre. He tells them to turn off the music and says, "What is this?" They've turned it into a slaughterhouse. They find flying bodies and scattered limbs and spare parts everywhere. Then a body hits the windshield, and Thor emerges. He opens his eyes, and they realize he is alive. They take him with them, and he faints. Gamora tells them, he feels anger, sadness, grief, and intense regret. She says, "Stop touching him, is it because of his muscles? By the way, I started a diet and gym, but I gave up because it's pointless." Then they tell her, "Just don't touch him, and take his body and go to the ship." Then we switch to Gamora as a child, remembering her beginning with Thanos and his men when they divided the planet into two halves and intended to make her a queen and right for them to kill half the planet. He tells her, "Look, my child, if we point this knife in this direction, it will go straight." She says, "Yes, that's how the planet will be if its population increases." Then they killed half the population of her planet, including her mother. Then she returns to reality on the ship and tells her lover, the ship's captain, "I have a small request for you." He asks, "What is it?" She says, "If I ever fall into Thanos' hands, kill me so that we don't all get upset." He asks, "Why? Tell me." She says, "If I tell you, we won't benefit from it, but swear on the holy book." He says, "I'll kill you if you fall into his hands." Then they go to nowhere and find Thanos holding the collector, torturing him for the stone. They approach to ambush him and try to kill him. Amazingly, everything goes according to plan. They kill him, and Gamora stabs him with a dagger he gave her. And then everything disappears, and we discover that Thanos had control over all of that with the reality stone he obtained early on. He said, "I knew you were coming, by God." Then he looked at his palm to signal the agreed upon plan, but it failed. Thanos asked him, "What did she say to you? Did she tell you to kill her? Will you actually kill her?" He said, "Come on, let's go. 1, 2, 3, he approaches her and indeed shoots her, but it turns out to be a water pistol. Thanos used the reality stone to deceive him. He laughed, took it, and walked away, saying that he liked it. Then we moved to the Avengers who gathered at their headquarters and confronted the government after their previous conflict. But now the planet needs them, and if no one takes action, half of the planet will be doomed. Vision tells them that they need to destroy the Mind Stone, but his beloved says, "Are you willing to let all those lives go to waste?" He replies, "It's the only solution. We must prevent Thanos from taking the stone and wiping out half of the planet. We need to awaken a certain individual for the planet to survive." Bruce suggests an alternative, but it would require a lot of time, resources, and technology that they don't have. Captain America tells them that he knows a place, Wakanda, which is a paradise and has advanced technology. Then we shift to Doctor Strange, who was captured from the beginning of the film, and Thanos' son tortures him. Tony meets him, talks to him, and encounters Spider-Man. He asks, "Didn't I tell you this is serious? Why did you come?" Peter replies, "I couldn't leave you, sir. I won't abandon you." Then Thanos' son continues torturing Doctor Strange until they intervene. He threatens to kill them both, saying they are not worthy. Just as he's about to strike, Iron Man says, "I've read the script, and we will kill you." Raj opens a portal in the ship and escapes. He freezes and dies in space. Then they contemplate their next move and decide to confront Thanos on his own turf instead of risking the destruction of Earth. At least they know he's coming and have seen the location beforehand. They all agree on this plan. Then we shift to Gamora, who is on Thanos' ship. Her mother threatens her, and she mocks him. He asks her to show him where the Soul Stone is and sacrifices her. Gamora laughs and tells him that she has already seen his weakness. He says, "No, my child, I only value one thing, but unfortunately, I won't let my dream perish. Sleep tight." We return to the Avengers who went to Titan, where they encounter Thanos in his quest for the Time Stone. They meet Doctor Strange there, but it turns out to be a trap. They capture and beat him, taking his weapon with the stones. However, Nebula reveals that Gamora has been killed, which enrages the leader. After they almost secure the gauntlet, the plan falls apart. Thanos regains control and starts to eliminate half of the population. Meanwhile, Thor attempts to forge a new weapon, but the planet is in ruins due to Thanos. He asks the dwarf to help him, and with the help of the handle, he manages to activate the star again for a short time. At the same time, Wakanda and its army are struggling against Thanos' forces. They are overwhelmed, and just when all hope seems lost, Thor arrives and single-handedly defeats the enemy. We then see Thanos heading to Titan to acquire the Time Stone. He meets Doctor Strange there, and we discover that it was a planned ambush. They capture, beat, and incapacitate him, taking his weapon with the stones. However, the empath senses his grief, and the leader asks her, "What do you sense? Why is he grieving?" Then we find out that he killed Gamora, and the leader gets furious and strikes him. However, they almost had the gauntlet, but unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. Then he captures them. Meanwhile, Wakanda is under attack, and Vision's operation is not complete. They try to protect him, but Thanos catches Tony Stark and intends to kill him. Doctor Strange tells him to spare Tony and hands him the Time Stone, saying, "We made a deal, right?" He gives him the stone and leaves. Thanos heads to Earth to acquire the remaining stone from Vision, and everyone senses his presence. Then Vision asks his beloved to kill him, so Thanos doesn't get the stone, and she reluctantly complies, saying, "It's too late, Thanos." Thanos replies, "There is no time, and what's done is done," as he reverses time with the Time Stone and takes the stone from Vision. Everyone feels his presence on Earth, and then people start disappearing randomly. The planet realizes that Thanos has achieved his dream and wiped out half of the population. Then we see Thanos sitting, fulfilling his dream, watching the sunset after obliterating half of the planet for the sake of his vision of peace.